Annuzzi. I'm a student physical therapist. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Laura.
Hi, Laura. Nice to meet you. Is it okay if we do some run through some sensory testing with you today?
Sure.
Great. Okay. So for the first one, we're going to do is we're going to test your sense of smell. So I'm going to ask you just to close your eyes, and you're going to cover one nostril with your finger. Okay. I'm going to open this canister and have you take a smell of it, and then we're going to switch sides and do the same thing. At the end, you'll tell me what do you think the smell was. Okay?
Okay.
So go ahead and close your right nostril for me. Okay. Do you smell that?
I smell that.
Great. Switch sides. Okay, and you smell that?
I smell that.
Okay, what do you think it was?
I think that was coffee.
Yes, and it is coffee. So we just tested cranial nerve number 1, her olfactory nerve. Since she was able to smell, we know that both cranial nerves on both sides are still functional and intact. If there was a lesion to either side, say if there was a lesion to her right side, she would have problems smelling through that right nostril, and same thing on the left. Okay, Laura, what we're going to do next is we're going to check your vision. So I'm just going to shine this light into your eye and observe what happens, okay? Great. Perfect. So we just checked cranial nerve number 2, her optic nerve. By shining the light in our eye, I'm observing pupillary constriction. And I observed both eyes to make sure the consensual reflex was working as well. If there was a lesion to the right eye, and I shine the light in her right eye, it wouldn't have constricted. And same thing in the left. If I shine the light in her left eye and the left pupil did not constrict, I know optic nerve number 2 on that left side is damaged. What you're going to do next is I'm going to have you follow my pen. You're going to follow with your eyes without moving your head, and I'm just going to watch and observe your eyes and what happens, okay? So here we go. Good. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here now, okay? Great. So what we just tested there was cranial nerve number 3, 4, and 6. I specifically tested each eye using the H pattern and looked for certain movements that each cranial nerve are responsible for. With cranial nerve number 3, it moves the eye up and in, up and out, down and out, and medially. Primarily using the medial rectus muscle. So when I moved, moving the pen to the right, on her right eye, I would look for the medial rectus to pull the eye medially. If there was a cranial nerve lesion to 3 and it did not move the pen to the right, on her right eye, I would look for the medial rectus to pull the eye medially. If there was a cranial nerve lesion to 3 and it did not move medially or adduct, then I know there's cranial nerve number 3 lesion. The same thing for her left eye. When I moved it to my left and the eye did not adduct, I would know that there's a cranial nerve number 3 lesion to that left side. Cranial nerve number 3 also presents as a down and out pattern. So when I was testing cranial nerve number 4, which was primarily used by the superior oblique, which is responsible for pulling the eye down and in. When I was testing her right eye, and I'm down here in her lower left quadrant, it should pull the eye, adduct it and depress the eye to pull it down and in. If it does not do that, then I know there's a cranial number 4 lesion. The same thing for her left eye. If I'm on her lower right quadrant and it does not pull the eye down and in, then I know it's the left cranial nerve number 4 lesion. And finally, cranial nerve number 6 innervates the lateral rectus, which abducts the eye. So when I'm testing her left eye, I'm looking to see her left eye abduct. If it did not do that in her left eye, then I know there's a cranial nerve number 6 lesion. And same thing on her right eye. If I'm out here and the eye did not abduct, then I know there's a right cranial nerve number 6 lesion. All right, Laura, next thing what we're gonna do is I'm just going to use a Q-tip and brush this up against some certain areas on your face. And you're gonna tell me when and if you feel anything, okay? And kind of just give me like a general location where you think you feel it. And then we're going to move on to another test, okay? All right, so I'm just going to have you feel what this normally would feel like on your arm. Okay, you feel that? Great. So I'm gonna have you close your eyes now, okay? And just tell me when, and like I said, when and kind of about where you would feel if you feel something.
Feel that on my left forehead.
Great.
I feel that on my left cheekbone. I feel that on my left bottom of my face. Jaw.
Great. Okay.
I feel that on my right forehead. I feel that on my right cheekbone. I feel that on my right jawline.
Great. Okay. Go open your eyes now, Laura. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to gently place my hands on your jaw. Okay. I'm actually ask you to bite down and clench your teeth for me. I'm just going to feel for a palpation. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, clench. Good. So we just tested cranial nerve number 5, the trigeminal nerve. Since it has both a motor and sensory aspect, I tested both portions of that nerve. I tested the ophthalmic, maxillary, and mandibular portions of the sensory aspect using light touch and a Q-tip. And then I tested its motor innervation, one of the muscles that innervates is the masseter. So I checked to see that was working properly. Lesion 2, any motor aspect would be ipsilateral. So if there was a motor injury lesion to the trigeminal nerve on her left, the left masseter would not be functioning, and same thing on the right. Sensory portions, if she wasn't able to feel any of the 3 branches of the sensory aspect of the trigeminal, there would be a lesion to one of those branches. What we're going to do next is I'm going to instruct you to make some funny faces for me, and then that'll be that, okay? So what I want you to do is you're going to smile real hard. Great. You're going to blow out your cheeks. Good. You're going to close your eyelids really hard. Okay, close them, open them. Oh, and then you're gonna raise your eyebrows up really high. Good, and relax. Okay, so what we just tested, we tested her facial nerve, cranial nerve number 7. It has both a motor and sensory. We didn't test the sensory. That would be that's responsible for taste on the anterior tongue. But we did test the motor. If she wasn't able to make any of those facial expressions that we just performed, there would be a lesion to that same side. So if she wasn't able to do something on the left, say puff out her cheek, then we know there's lesion to the left side facial muscle. Same thing on the right. If she was able to do all those on the left, but one of them was absent on the right, then we know there's a right facial nerve lesion. Okay, Laura, next thing we're going to test is your hearing. I'm just going to have you close your eyes. I'm going to ask you to tell me when you hear something and what side it is towards, okay? All right, so go ahead and close your eyes for me.
Left.
Great.
Right. Right. Left. Both.
Great. So what we just tested there is the cranial nerve number 8, vestibulocochlear or acoustic. By testing the right side, she was able to hear it. If there was a cranial nerve number 8 lesion to the right side, she would not have been able to hear me rubbing my fingers together. And same thing on the left. If there was a cranial nerve number 8 lesion to the left side, then she wouldn't have been able to hear on the left. This is just a quick screen. If we were to investigate further lesion, we would use Renee's and Weber's tests. What you do next is I'm just going to have you stick out your tongue and say ah, and I'm going to observe what happens. Okay, and then I'm just going to place my hands on your throat and palpate you swallow. Okay. All right. So if you can sit up nice and tall for me, perfect. Okay, stick out your tongue and say ah. Great, and relax. Okay, and I'm just going to place my hands on your throat now and ask you to swallow. Okay? Go ahead and swallow for me. Perfect. Okay, so we just tested cranial nerve number 9 and 10, 9 the glossopharyngeal and 10 the vagus nerve. I had her stick out her tongue to say ah. I observed the soft palate rise. If the left soft palate didn't rise, then I know it's a cranial nerve number 9 lesion on the left side, and if it didn't rise on the right, I know it's a cranial nerve number 9 lesion on the right side. By palpating her throat and even hearing her speak throughout this examination, I know cranial nerve number 10, the vagus nerve, is intact. If there was a lesion, her voice might be harsh, and there might be asymmetries with swallowing. If I didn't feel the pharynx, throat, if I didn't feel her swallow on the left side, I know it's a cranial nerve number 10 lesion, and same thing on the right. Last 2 sets, what we're going to do is I'm just going to have you shrug your shoulders, and I'll apply some resistance down on you, and you're just going to hold them up there best you could. Okay? All right. So I want you to sit nice and straight for me. Okay. I want you to bring your shoulders up to your ears and hold them there for me. Okay. Nice and strong. Ready? Hold, and hold. Great. Okay. Relax. Okay. And lastly, what I want you to do is I want you to stick out your tongue for me. Great. And you can relax. So we just tested cranial nerves number 11, the spinal accessory, and 12, her hypoglossal. What I tested with the shoulder shrug is the trapezius muscles innervated by spinal accessory. Weakness to either side would weakness or paralysis would present with possible cranial nerve number 11 lesion. So if she wasn't able to bring her shrug her right shoulder, it would be a right cranial nerve 11 lesion, and same thing on the left. If she wasn't able to shrug her left shoulder, cranial nerve number 11 lesion on the left side. By sticking out her tongue, I assessed cranial nerve number 12, the hypoglossal nerve. If it deviated towards the right, there would be a right cranial nerve number 12 lesion, and if it deviated towards the left, it would be a left cranial nerve number 12 lesion.